Good morning, Dr. Manoni. Thank you so much for joining me today for the Virtual Ocean Pavilion interview. We'll begin with a quick round of introductions, after which I'll provide a brief overview of the Virtual Ocean Pavilion and the purpose of this interview. So, my name is Abiha Ashar, and I'm an environmental science graduate passionate about sustainable development and ocean conservation. I recently participated in the Citizen of the Ocean Summit, which is a youth led world forum supported by organizations such as Nausicaá, EU, Youth for Ocean Forum, Early Career Ocean Professionals, and the World Ocean Network, among others. From there, I also got the opportunity to join the third UN Ocean Conference, UNOC3, where we discussed the outcomes of those workshops. And I have also worked with other networks like World Youth Parliament for Water and UNESCO Groundwater Youth Network. So this is a little bit about me. Could you please introduce about yourself?
Certainly. Thank you. So my name is Filimon Manoni. I currently serve as the Pacific Ocean Commissioner, appointed by Pacific leaders in 2023. A key part of the role of the Pacific Ocean Commissioner is to support leaders in their advocacy efforts at the global level on Pacific priorities. So in this case, at COP30, as we have done in previous COPs, I will be supporting the Pacific interests, supporting the leaders, our political leaders, in conveying the issues of the Pacific to our global partners.
So again, thank you for taking time out to join us today. I will quickly give a brief background about the virtual Ocean Pavilion and the purpose of this interview. So the Virtual Ocean Pavilion is a free online platform that is dedicated to raising the visibility of the ocean and showcasing why the ocean matters in these climate negotiations and to all life on our planet. It also aims to democratize the ocean at COP and to promote unity and inclusivity while also increasing knowledge, commitment, and the action for this ocean climate nexus at the key events at COP30. It is also a key tool for increasing transparency and equitable access to climate discussions and informations. It makes sure that this topic is accessible to all to engage with. And as a part of that, Virtual Ocean Pavilion also aims to showcase a selection of interviews with party negotiators and key stakeholders to gain a better insight into the COP30 process. While also enabling individuals such as myself that will not be attending the COP30 directly to engage with the process. So, since you have already stated your affiliation and role, could you please tell us your expectations from coming into COP30 and what you would consider a successful outcome for the ocean from those negotiators?
Thank you. Well, I think a lot of expectations when we have been at this for the past 30 years with very little movement. But COP30 marks a decade of the Paris Agreement, which commits states to limiting global warming to below 2 degrees. For the Pacific, the target of below 1.5 degrees is non-negotiable. It will be devastating to the Pacific if the trajectory holds to where it is today. And I think the expectations at COP30 would be moving to concrete action and stopping with the rhetoric and pledges and doing something concrete about our 1.5 degrees target. We are adamant that more climate action is needed to maintain that target. It is not looking good at the moment, and therefore, I think our desire at all of these negotiations is to see more enhance climate action. That's the first part. I think the second part, more to do with my role, is what it means for the ocean. And I think for the ocean, the expectation is that, and I'm saying this with a line of sight to hopefully COP31 in the Pacific and Australia, is what to do more about the ocean. At the moment, as you know, there is still a lot of work to be done, I think, across the formal UNFCCC processes, taking into account the very important nexus between ocean and climate. I know at the moment, work is being undertaken through the dialogue process, but what does it mean? Is that enough? Do we need to do a little bit more about the ocean? So the expectation is that a lot more could be done to look at ocean-based measures in nationally determined contributions, whether we can embed or strengthen alignment. In that case, strengthen cooperation and coordination among instruments and frameworks that work on ocean. Take that in the COP process and integration of all of these climate issues across all the COP discussions, increase the ambition and the finance on ocean-based solutions, and then perhaps design of clear implementation timelines around oceans. I think, in short, a successful COP30 would, in terms of the ocean, see the ocean move from the margins of the climate negotiations to the center, recognize that as both the front line of climate impacts, and also the ocean as a solution to the climate issues. So that would be my response to your question, Pia.
Thank you so much. So moving on, what do you think would be better collaboration in those aspects? What would be needed to be done, and with whom or among whom in order to make this happen? What would be the best alternative to your desired outcome for the ocean?
Yes, despite the recognition of the importance of the ocean climate nexus, I think globally the effort remains fragmented. The lack of coordination, the institutions, access to finance, underrepresentation, and also down at the community level, the taking into account the knowledge of communities. So the collaboration network has to be comprehensive. Political commitment, political will is important. Governments together acting together with multilateral organizations, aligning the work, for example, under this climate COP with CBD and other processes. There needs to be, I think, an enhanced public-private sector partnerships, bringing in new partners that don't recognize the important role, important impact that their sectors have on the ocean. Local and indigenous leadership, and of course, the science that is needed for sound policy decisions. So there must be political commitment to engage at the multilateral level by all states, because I think in this global environment, no one state or no one region can do this alone. This requires a multilateral approach as we work to fulfill the elements of the Paris Agreement and other relevant international multilateral legal frameworks, such as the recently adopted BB&J agreement that has now reached the threshold for entry into force, is a great example of what the global community can do to protect our planet. So a multitude cross-sectoral collaboration from all of these important stakeholders is necessary for to successfully alleviate these issues, to protect our planet and also our ocean, our resources that we depend on in our ocean. So I think that is I think that the message is that this is not this work can be achieved by any one person, but a fully integrated ocean climate nexus across perhaps the COP formal decisions that recognizes the importance of ocean, but also that all stakeholders are working together to find these solutions.
Right. So, what all strategies and mechanisms do you recommend that should be explored to close the ocean finance gap?
Well, I think there is recognition that official development aid is not meeting the targets, but developed countries have a duty to provide climate finance. I mean, the recent ICJ advisory opinion clearly makes that point. So for us in the Pacific, access to finance is a key challenge. We have been having a lot of challenges in accessing these multilateral funds. Standards, I mean, it doesn't make sense. Number one, it recognizes that we are at the front lines. I mean, these funds and these policies recognize that seeds are at the front lines of this challenge, and yet makes difficult the process for access to these resources. We are not asking to lower accountability standards. I think what we're asking for is to recognize the challenge and perhaps look at strategies to streamline the process and access to this funding. There is also emerging the philanthropies also in the private finance that are now coming in, but which makes a very small percentage of the funds, I think, in climate and ocean. But in the Pacific, we have not been sitting on our laurels and waiting for things to happen. Leaders have established what we call the Pacific Resilience Facility. And this is, in a way, a response to the challenge and the struggle that the Pacific faces in terms of accessing finance that is required for adaptation. So it's a first Pacific-led, owned and managed facility that has pillars to support communities in responding to disasters, in climate change impacts, adaptation, and so forth. But of course, this requires recognition and support from all development partners to make this a successful facility so that the Pacific could be able to address the challenges at the community level impacted upon by climate change and sea level rise. So this is one of the ways that the Pacific is one of the initiatives that the Pacific has undertaken in order to close those gaps. But we also, look at other global initiatives. I think there is an ongoing discussion around One Ocean Finance led by the UN. Look at other initiatives such as bonds, blended finance, encourage all of us together with the private sector and the banks to work out some solutions to this. So again, it requires that cross sectoral collaboration to be able to be successful in this. So I think the message there is that closing the finance gap requires a coordinated action across the public, private, and community levels, so that we find a way to develop innovative instruments and allow access to finance that can transform the work that we need to do in terms of ocean governance and contributing to the climate issue.
Right, I think that's very well said. So I want to ask about there's this one statement that is been going around. The statement states that the agreement on marine biological diversity of areas beyond national jurisdiction, the BBNJ agreement, which has recently reached the required threshold of ratification and will enter into force on 17 January 2026, is considered a climate agreement. Do you support this statement? And if you do, then why?
Oh, that's a very good question. And my response to that is that yes, in a way you can link the BBNJ agreement to climate because if you look at the elements of the agreement, you can find that. It is while the primary focus and the mandate is on biological diversity, conservation, and sustainable use in ABNJ, the agreement, if you look at it carefully, is linked to climate governance because of its connection to ocean health and climate stability. So it provides mechanisms that strengthen ocean climate nexus. It complements the Paris Agreement, I believe, and the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, reinforcing the climate biodiversity nexus. It also implements or can deliver or support or promote nature-based climate solutions and a lot of elements. And the other, I think one of the important elements of the agreement is throwing out these siloed approaches in governance and promoting a holistic approach to governance of the ocean. And in that sense, contributes to the work that we want to do in the climate and addressing all of those issues. Because protecting our ocean and ecosystems and the ocean as if you like, a regulator of climate is also important. By preserving or conserving and sustainably using our biological diversity helps that process. So in a way, the work we do under the BBNJ agreement or the work that we look forward to doing under the BBNJ agreement closely aligns with our ambitions under the Paris Agreement.
Right. Thank you so much. I think we have a little bit of time if you want to ask me any question.
Oh, thank you, Abiha, for the opportunity to have a conversation this morning on the upcoming COP. From your perspective, what would you want to say to negotiators or to the should we say the polluting countries of the parties to the Paris Agreement? Of course, you know that the United States had withdrawn from the Paris Agreement,
Right.
which is very unfortunate. But what would you, if you can share with me, what your message would be to these countries? Because, as you know, we are now heading to the 30th COP, and we have been making small steps, but not quite enough as some of us would want to see. So, from your perspective, Abiha, what would you like to say? I suppose in support of seeds issues.
Yeah. So, first of all, I would really like to say that it is time that we now take action and stop talking about it. There is much awareness about change in climate. We can see it. We are the one who's enduring it. People, I think most of the negotiators have lived a lot of years from their lives. Now it's our time, us youth, who are in this situation and who would suffer in the future. And we've been saying that we need to make a sustainable future, but the future is here now, and it's time that we stop talking and start taking actions. And to the countries like US who are taking not taking part in the Paris Agreement anymore. I think it's very unfortunate as well, and it is very much time that these big countries with so much power, they need to align with the smaller countries, because the bigger countries may or may not face much problems, but the direct impact is on the smaller countries, the countries that are in the global south. So, yeah, and we need much more youth representation in the COP30. That is something that I would really agree on. So, thank you for your question, and thank you so much for taking out this time.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. And it was a pleasure to uh, have this conversation with you this morning, and look forward to what happens at COP30 on Belen next week.
Yeah, thank you so much. The pleasure's all mine.
Thank you.